a cold coffee?
Nah. I have coffee there, and probably not going to drink one in the car, so.
Okay.
Thank you, though.
No problem. Good morning. Hey, Jack.
Razzing.
Razzing? There's no A.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done with Swampy.
We got it, but by the skin of our teeth, you know?
Ow. Not that. I mean, I did pretty good today, to be honest.
I think you're right. I think we did do pretty good today.
Great, actually.
What up, what up?
Just about everything.
Yeah. You're right about that. You are right about that. Shoop, shoop, shoop. Time for coffee.
Go get ready.
Yeah, don't forget that cord though, unless there's one in the car.
That cord can't work in the car, but
Never mind then.
this one over here.
There might already be one in the car. Morning, Sloth. Morning, Cindy. So I was trying to beat Becca on sharing the life. That's really funny. That's very cute. Cute and sweet. Secret husband has to go into his office today, which is a big sad. I'm gonna be alone all day. Ah. Sad. Good morning, everybody. How's everyone's morning going so far? Batman is here, you guys. The hero of the night or whatever. I don't know what they call him. Hey, Jem. What's Batman's, like, tagline? I don't even know. Hero extraordinaire. Someone who can turn into a... I don't really know. Someone just had the username Batman and sent me off on a tangent. Good morning, everybody. No, I don't want to share my life with Prince Khan, whoever he is. Morning is good, other than the fact that Panera wouldn't let me order breakfast at 10 a.m. Why? Isn't that like prime time's good? I gotta pick another book. I'm thinking Mafia. I don't know. As long as it's not the Mafia book I read. That was not good. Oliver said he wants any kind of breakfast, but not salad. Okay. So eggs it is. What a win. What a win for you. Any breakfast except salad. Apparently they stopped breakfast at 10 a.m. That's ridiculous. It was called like Mafiella or something. Nice. It's on my Goodreads. It was pitched as Mafia. Like, it was pitched as The Godfather meets Princess Diaries, and I was like, that sounds great. No! Oh, it will definitely be on YouTube, Avery. I'm almost caught up putting them all on YouTube. I'll try to get them all up today. I'm sorry about that. I'll try to get them all. I mean, I don't want salad for breakfast either. I have a friend who makes breakfast salads, and they look pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. It's because it's not out yet, and so it was an ARC. But it sounded like it was going to be something I would love. You know, I love the Princess Diaries. She's my favorite. But it had some problems. That's okay. If not, I'll just recap. Yeah, I will. No, I will work really hard to get it up, Avery. I understand. You're here every day. It's the least I could do. Yeah. The woman who asked for ARCs specifically asked for people who know Italian to read it because there was some Italian in it. And then the Italian in it wasn't correct. And I was like, you probably should have asked for non-Italian speakers so they wouldn't notice the incorrectness in your Italian. And look, I thought maybe it was just a dialect difference, so I Googled it to make sure I wasn't wrong. And I wasn't wrong. I was like, it's not how you say grandpa, but okay. Did you know that they're making another Princess Diaries? They keep saying that. I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when I see it. Although Meg does keep writing more books. The most recent Princess Diaries, maybe they need an Italian speaking editor. They sure did. They sure did. It was weird because there was no need for it. Like, the Italian was so sparingly used that it could have been skipped entirely and been okay, or they could have just literally used, because it was never even sentences. It was like just singular words. Why do people put other languages and not put them in correctly? Yeah. No, I've not watched Descendants. You know what? Descendants is just, it's too young for me. I know a lot of people really love it, but I don't watch a lot of TV as it is, so I choose my TV pretty carefully. If I had a teenager, of course, I would watch it with her or him. But yeah, it was just singular words in Italian, not sentences. And so that's okay, Becca, that's okay. And they were still wrong. And I was like, okay, but if you literally Google how do you say grandpa in Italian, there's only one answer. You know what I mean? So like, why do it wrong then? You know? It was just odd. Yeah, exactly. They can totally be Google translated. You don't even need Google Translate. You can just Google like a list of family words in Italian. It was strange. Yeah. Yeah. It's not even like a grammatical issue. It really doesn't make any sense. Have you ever read the series of Unfortunate Events? No. You know what? The series of Unfortunate Events came out when I was just too old for it, and then I never got into it. A lot of people I know read it anyway, but I was in college already, I think, when it came out, so it just wasn't my age range. It just wasn't for me. What is this? A book I read, Becca, that had, they asked for ARC readers that speak Italian, and then they didn't do their Italian correctly, and so I was frustrated. I was like, you should have had well, sure, watching it for Neil Patrick Harris is a different story. I read it anyway, I loved it. You did? That a lot of people say that, Cindy. A lot of people say that. And obviously, as Becca said, Neil Patrick Harris was in the series, and we all love Neil Patrick Harris. Well, at least I love Neil Patrick Harris. Anyway, hope everyone is well. We had the Council of King. He is a good person, right? He is a good person. He's not only a good person, but he's also a good dad, right? Like, I have a story from when, okay, so Neil Patrick Harris brought his kids to Slimu when I worked there multiple times, and they would get a tour with me when they came. So I've been around him a couple of different times. You have to tell them that it wasn't, I did mention it in my review. I said it kindly, but I was like, hey, just, I Googled this, and just so you know, those aren't correct. So Neil Patrick Harris brought his kids when they were really little. It was great, not a big deal. But then he also brought them when they were like, I think 10-ish or whatever. And I did a tour with them, and we had a great time, and everything was lovely. And then I got them to the end of the tour and put them in the gift shop, and I said, all right, have a great day. If you guys need anything, you have my number, whatever, call me, see you later. Fine. I left them. And what I heard from the staff, get this, is apparently the boy twin of his two twins stole slime from the store, okay? The staff didn't notice. Neil and his family leaves the store. They're gone for like 10 minutes. They come marching back in. He's like holding the kid by his like shirt neck and forces him to go up to the counter, apologize, and return it. He's like, we don't steal. Give it back. Like, pay for this now. And I was like, the staff didn't even know. They would never have caught him. But he was like, no, march back in there and apologize to them. And he made the kid apologize to the staff for taking the slime. I mean, we would have given him anything, right? You know what I mean? But like literally, like if he would have asked for slime, we would have given him any slime he wanted, of course, right? But he was not about to teach his kid that that's behavior that he accepts. And I was like, good on you, sir. Because he could have gotten away with it. We didn't know. You know what I mean? But that wasn't the point. The point was to teach his son better behavior. And I was like, I'm pretty proud of that. I thought that was really good. Good guy. And he has a great reputation in Broadway as well for being really easy to work with. So there's that also. But seeing good parenting is always a good sign. I love seeing people be good parents when they technically kind of don't have to. You know what I mean? Like he could have slid under the radar and got away with it and been comfy, but instead he was willing to be uncomfortable in the moment. And you have to be nervous about the store's reaction. Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I I would have been nervous about going back in and being like, oh my gosh, who are they going to tell? They might, blah, blah, blah. We just were like, thank you. We appreciate that. Have a good day. Bye. Obviously it wasn't the first kid to steal from us, but glad that he brought it back and taught him a good lesson. So anyway, speaks well of him. He also, there were a couple times when his daughter tried to mouth off to him while we were doing the tour, and he looked at her and he was like, this lady is taking time out of her day to give us a nice tour. You better behave in front of her. I was like, oh. Yeah, he was not, he was not having it with his preteens being sassy to him. He was like, no, we don't do this. I was like, he had no problem reprimanding them in public. He does not play. Yeah, he still did it. He still did all those things. And I was like, you know what? It makes me respect you big time. I was like, mad respect and props for this man and his husband. They were so sweet. They were so sweet and so kind. I've also seen his husband in a lot of Broadway shows. He's also very talented. But anyway, that's another story. So anyway, yes, NPH gets all the props. He has only a reputation of being good to work with. And in my experience as a person who comes to your place, he's great. So yeah, A+. All right, let's read chapter 10. And chapter 10 is called Into the Northeast. Here we go, guys. This could get... He was, Sydney. He was extremely sweet. Very, very kind individual. The whole family was very kind. Honestly, the kids were great, but I can understand from a parent's perspective, if your kid sasses you in front of people, you're like, don't. You know what I mean? So I get why he was correcting them, but they were very kind to me. The kids were really polite, so I don't know. They weren't like... There's a lot of kids, celebrity kids who came through there and they were not polite, I'll tell you that much. Okay, see you later, Becca. Into the Northeast. After the Conference of Kings, the alchemists escorted the representatives to the front of the Institute where the bronze carriages and mechanical birds were waiting to take them home. The guests noticed 2 additional carriages had been added to the landing strip, one to take Bristol and the delegates to the Temple of Knowledge, and the other to take the alchemists to Xanthos, wherever he might be. Bristol's stomach was in knots as she watched the alchemists load their carriage with weapons and traps like she had never seen before. There were cages with spikes and sharp wires, miniature handheld cannons, swords and spears that were launched by springs, and crossbows with preloaded arrows. If Bristol hadn't known better, she would have thought the alchemists were the ones about to face the dragon. Is all of that really necessary? She asked them. I thought you said the elimination would be quick and as humane as possible. Oh, these weapons are just a precaution for our safety, Dr. State said. One can never be too careful when traveling through the kingdoms of man. But I assure you, if we find Mr. Hayfield before you return with the Book of Sorcery, his elimination will be painless. It will be like drifting off to sleep, and hopefully he won't even see us coming. Sir, our carriage is ready for departure, Dr. Steam called. Oh, splendid, Dr. State said, and then addressed the representatives. I suppose it's time for us to say our farewells and go our separate ways. Throughout the landing strip, the delegates said their own unique goodbyes to their superiors. Sir Rain, Sir Hammer, and Sir Timber bowed and kissed the hands of their sovereigns. Mr. Slade and Spanky saluted with their pickaxes. The Troll Chief and Butternut butted horns like dueling bucks, and the Goblin Elder and Godzilla smacked each other's bellies and snorted like pigs. However, not all the representatives gave their delegates a proper goodbye. King Elvin didn't say a word to Prince Elrond. He only glared at his son with a disapproving scowl as if he had already failed his mission. The righteous emperor didn't even acknowledge his dead soldier. Instead, Seven's eyes remained fixed on Bristol as he watched her with a sinister smirk. He's always up to something, isn't he? Bristol said to her friends. The fairies and the witches were too worried about her to care about the righteous emperor. It's gonna be okay, Bristol reassured them, although she wasn't really sure she believed that herself. I know there's a lot to be worried about, but we'll get through this. We always get through it. We will? Tangerina asked. Yesterday we were only worried about losing you, and that was hard enough to swallow. I can't imagine what it would be like to lose you, Lucy, and Xanthos all in the same week. The Fairy Council will never be the same. Until now, Bristol hadn't thought about how awful her friends must be feeling. Regardless of what happened in the Temple of Knowledge, Bristol knew her life was going to end, and she had to come to terms with that. But her friends were still taunted by hope, and if Bristol didn't retrieve the Book of Sorcery in time, they would have to endure everything Bristol
wouldn't have to endure. She waved the fairies and the witches to the side of the landing strip where the alchemists and the representatives could hear themselves couldn't hear them for one last talk. Hey, Liz. We can't let fear cloud our focus, she whispered. If there's one thing last year taught me, it's how complicated life seems when fear takes the reins. And our goal is much simpler than our fears would like us to believe. First, we have to find Xanthos and keep him safe. Second, we have to get to the Book of Sorcery. But that's it! If we accomplish those two things, everything will be fine. The fairies and the witches nodded, but tears still welled in their eyes. Promise you're coming back to us, Esmeralda said, trying her best not to cry. Promise me this isn't goodbye. Bristol and Lucy glanced at each other, but that wasn't a promise they could make. Ah, come on, Lucy laughed it off. You can't get rid of us that easily. I battled stage mothers who are way scarier than dragons. Tangerina's bottom lip quivered and tears spilled down her face. You're awful, Lucy, but you are awful, she cried. Who am I going to feud with if you die? Tangerina threw her arms around Lucy and sobbed into her shoulder. The fairies and the witches were surprised by this emotional gesture, especially Lucy. There, Lucy comforted her. You'll find someone just as terrible as me. No, I won't, Tangerina sniffled. You're just simply the worst. Ditto, Lucy said. The two exchanged a sweet smile, knowing that they each meant it from the heart. Well, we can't promise anything, but you can promise us something, Bristol said. Even if Lucy and I don't come back from the Temple of Knowledge, and even if alchemists do eliminate Xanthos, promise us you won't let any amount of grief stop you from achieving our goal. Promise us that you'll find the Book of Sorcery, and then you'll use it to destroy the army of the dead. The fairies and the witches looked at one another and gave Bristol a confident nod. Yeah, we promise. Esmeralda nodded. I know, I love them too. Yes, I love them too. Okay, but if you do die, Sprout and I can have your bedrooms, right? Stitches asked. Sure, Lucy said with an awkward shrug. But don't do anything weird with my bottle cap collection. That's gonna be worth something someday. Bristol saw the other delegates were starting to gather around the carriage. Well, this is it, she said. Wish us good luck. Bristol and Lucy hugged the fairies and the witches goodbye. When they arrived at the carriage, the girls could sense that there was already tension among the fellow delegates. Although the fairies were on good terms with the other kingdoms, there was a long and complicated history between the species. Gobzella, Spanky, Butternut, and Prince Elron all stood in one group, while Sir Rain, Sir Hammer, and Sir Timber stood in another. The men and the talking creatures didn't speak to one another, and they were engaged in a heated crossfire of dirty looks. Hi, everyone, Bristol said with a friendly wave. Before we leave, I just want to thank you all for coming along, yeah? I'm really grateful for your help. Sir Rain, Sir Hammer, and Sir Timber scoffed at her. Yeah, something funny? Lucy asked them. Please don't act like we're doing you a favor, fairy godmother, Sir Rain said. We wouldn't be going on this mission unless we were ordered to. Yeah, and if something dangerous does happen, just let us handle it, okay? Sir Hammer said. We'd like to come back in one piece, and we don't need a group of damsels and beasts getting in our way. Lucy crossed her arm. Yeah, who you calling a damsel? She asked. Damsels might be a stretch, but beasts is putting it nicely, Sir Timber chuckled. Check out that goblin. She's built like a bear with the face of a swine. Swoosh! Before Bristol or Lucy could react to the knight's rudeness, Gobzella suddenly dropped to the ground. Foop! With one swipe of her staff, the goblin knocked all three knights off their feet. Gobzella jumped back and hovered over the men, raising both her fists. Yeah, you see these? She asked them. This is wrath, and this one is vengeance. Run your mouth again, and I'll be happy to make an introduction. Good on her. Honestly, they deserved that. The knights remained on the ground until Gobzella backed away. Lucy turned to Bristol with a big grin. Hey, I like her, she whispered. Bristol groaned. This is going to be a long trip, she whispered back. Across the way, Dr. Steam, Dr. Storm, Dr. Stagg all boarded the carriage with all the weapons. Dr. Staith hovered toward the delegates, and with one tap of his cane, their coach's doors opened on their own. I'm afraid this coach isn't big enough to seat all of you, the alchemist said. Some of you will have to ride on the mag birds. Please, allow us, Sir Rain said. The knights were happy to separate themselves from the talking creatures and climbed aboard the mechanical birds. The delegates squeezed inside the coach, but they were still missing the dead soldier from the righteous empire. Bristol gazed across the landing strip and saw that Seven was whispering something into the skeleton's ear. When he finished, the righteous emperor pushed the dead soldier toward the carriage. The skeleton climbed inside and had a seat with the others. The smell of the soldier's rotting corpse instantly made all the delegates gag. Ugh, we definitely need to roll down a window or something, Lucy said. Bristol waved her wand and masked the skeleton's smell with a flowery scent. Once everyone was aboard, the carriage door closed behind them, and Bristol used her foot to block it from shutting and looked right at Dr. States. Are you going to tell us how to get to the Temple of Knowledge? She asked. Oh, the Magbirds have been instructed to fly north, the alchemist said. Bristol waited for more instructions, but that was all Dr. States said. That's it? She asked. We just fly northeast and the temple, we'll just find it? No, Dr. States said. Fly northeast and it will find you. The simple instructions made Bristol a little uneasy, but she lifted her foot and allowed the carriage door to shut behind her. Dr. States hobbled back across the landing strip and joined Dr. Steam, Dr. Storm, and Dr. Stagg in the other carriage. 2 chimes announced the vehicle's departure, and both sets of mechanical birds lunged forward. The carriages soared into the sky, one taking the delegates into the northeast and the other taking the alchemists into the northwest. The representatives and the remaining alchemists waved to the other vehicles as they disappeared into opposite horizons. Once they were out of sight, the remaining alchemists headed back to the Institute, and the guests headed to their carriages to go home. As the fairies and the witches climbed inside, they noticed the righteous emperor and King Elvin were lingering behind. The men were in the middle of a private conversation, and judging by how close they were standing to one another, it was clearly a conversation they didn't want anyone else to hear. Bristol was right, Esmeralda said. 7 is absolutely up to something. All right, bye, Avery. I'll make sure I get that up by this evening. Oh, gosh, Tangerina moaned. Can't he take a break from evil anything? 7 and King Elvin discussion ended in a handshake, and the men covertly went their separate ways, as if the conversation had never happened. It looks like King Elvin is up to something too, Stitches said. Yeah, but what could the Elf King want with the righteous emperor? Sprout asked. Esmeralda studied the men with a suspicious gaze, asking herself the same question. I don't know, she said, but we should keep an eye on both of them until Bristol gets back. Tick, 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 tick. Bristol didn't know if her anxiety was playing tricks on her or if it was just the close quarters of the carriage, but she could have sworn that her pocket watch was ticking much louder than usual. Tick, 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 tick. She tried her best to ignore the daunting sound, but something felt more persistent, as if the watch wanted to be heard. The noise was practically an invitation for her disturbing thoughts to resurface. With every tick, she could feel the curse growing stronger in her mind. Tick, 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 tick. Well, well, well. Isn't this an unexpected turn of events? You finally found the location of the Book of Sorcery, but you may lose a friend before you find it. Life's always a game of give and take, but do you have what it takes? Tick, 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 tick. Can you survive the Temple of Knowledge? Unlikely. Can you save Xanthos? Doubtful. Can you stop the righteous emperor before death collects you? Impossible. Tick, 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 tick. Yes, I will, Bristol told her thoughts. And after Xanthos has been saved, after we discover the true source of the fire, and after we put an end to 7 and his army of the dead, you'll have nothing to taunt me with, and I'll spend my last moments in peace. Tick, 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 tick. I hope you're right. You don't have time to be wrong. 11 more days. That's all you have left. Good luck. You're gonna need it. Tick, 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 tick. Finally, the disturbing thoughts faded away and left Bristol alone, and as she sighed with relief at the silence in her mind, Lucy sighed with restlessness due to the silence in the carriage. The delegates had been traveling for hours and hadn't said a single word to one another. So, Lucy had to break the silence. Anybody interested in a game? Oh, I love games, Gobzella declared. The goblin's loud voice made the other delegates cringe. Do you always talk like that? Prince Elrond asked. Like what? Gobzella asked. Like you're screaming down a long tunnel, the elf said. Gobzella shrugged. I'm Goblin. We're always screaming down long tunnel, she said. Now, what game do you want to play? I should warn you, I'm very competitive. I don't tolerate cheating. Last person who cheated on me lost his toenails. Are you leaving, babe? I don't think he heard me. Elf King, bad, no good. Right. I like Gobzella, honestly. I like her. Almost as much as our other goblin princess, whose name I can't remember right now. All right. In that case, let's not play a game, Lucy said. Why don't we just chat and get to know one another? You leaving?
Okay.
Have a good day. Yeah, of course. Have a good day. Oh, you smell nice. Drive safe. You have all your stuff?
Keys.
Keys, wallet, charger, phone? Oh, yeah. Everyone's saying bye. Are you wearing your goblin shoes, honey?
I don't own any.
Well, we're going to have to fix that.
No, do not fix that.
Do not fix that. We've been ordered not to fix the goblin shoe situation. Huh. Sounds like a challenge.
Don't. Nobody spend money on that.
No, none of you can spend money on that. Could I knit a pair of goblin shoes? Who knows, he says. Who knows? You found it?
What do with it? Shit.
It was that little white one, right?
Yeah.
Is it in your phone?
No.
Hold on, let me help him really quickly, guys. Give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back. You found it? Oh, great. I love you too. Have a great day at work. Text me when you get there so I know you're alive.
What?
Text me when you get there so I know you're alive.
Oh, yes.
It's a long drive.
Yes.
All right.
I'm gonna drink water.
I will. You too. Well, in that case, let's not play a game, Lucy said. Why don't we just chat and get to know one another? I'll go first. My name is Lucy Gousset. I'm 15 years old, and you all know me as a member of the Fairy Council. But before that, I was a tambourine player in the world-famous Gousset troupe. Never heard of them, Butternut grumbled. And with those ears, I imagine you've heard just about everything, Prince Elrond sneered. Look who's talking, you pointy-eared tree nymph, Butternut said. Prince Elrond gasped. How dare you, he exclaimed. I'd say that was below the belt, but that's probably as far as you can reach. Lucy quickly changed the subject before a physical fight broke out. So, Gobzella, she said with a nervous laugh. You certainly taught those knights back there a lesson at the Institute. Besides being my hero, what do you like to do for fun? I like to fight and to win, the goblin said. Not necessarily in that order. Lucy nodded politely. Solid hobbies, she said. You also must enjoy exercising to have such a muscular body. Is everyone in your family as big and strong as you? I don't have family, Gobzella said. I ate all my siblings in the womb. Lucy gulped. Oh, what about your parents? No parents, Gobzella said. Still hungry when I came out. The passengers scooted as far away from the goblin as they could. Hey, Claire. Butternut, tell us more about yourself, Lucy asked. Do you have any special pastimes? Actually, I like to write poetry, the troll said. Oh, really? Lucy asked. Anything you want to share with us? Butternut eagerly sat up in his seat and removed a folded piece of parchment from his moleskin vest. The troll cleared his throat, and it sounded like choking a hyena, but then he read a few poems aloud. Trolls like bridges, trolls love caves, trolls like ditches, trolls love slaves. Troll puppies are cute, kittens are precious, bunnies are mute, and they all taste delicious. Your teeth are rotten, sharp as knives. Your beard's like cotton, but you're still my wife. But you're still my wife. That's the end of that poem. Honestly, if I was Butternut's wife, I would be thrilled to receive this poem. What a loving poem from Butternut to his wife. What a lovely poem, Butternut. I think we should all give Butternut a round of applause. Good job, Butternut. I didn't see it coming, but I love it. The delegates sat in awkward silence, greatly disturbed by the troll's poetry. Gobzella, on the other hand, wiped a tear from her eyes. "Those are beautiful, Butternut," the goblin said. "Bravo!" I agree. "Yeah, deep stuff you got there," Lucy said. I'll be thinking about those poems for a while." "Yes, especially in my nightmares," Prince Elrond said. Butternut took the elf's comment as a compliment. "Thank you," he said bashfully and tucked his poems back into his vest. "Yeah, what about you, your highness?" Lucy asked the elf. "What are your interests?" "Privacy," Prince Elrond said with a cold glare. "Copy that," Lucy said. "All right, last but not least, we have Spanky here. Is there a fun fact you'd like to share? How'd you get a name like Spanky, anyway?" "I was a horrible child," the dwarf said. "And what do you like to do when you're not digging in the mines?" Lucy asked. Spanky eyed his fellow passengers with a suspicious gaze, wondering if they were worthy of his trust. "I'm not sure if I should mention it," he said. "Most people can't handle it." The comment made everyone sit on the edge of their seats. "All right, now you have to tell us," Lucy said. Spanky looked cautiously to his left and then to his right, and he leaned closer toward the others as if the clouds outside were listening. "I search for the mole people," the dwarf said. "For what?" Butternut asked. "Mole people," Spanky repeated. "They're a secret society that live deep under the ground. They feed on tree roots and recruit lost children into their colonies. The mole people only come to the surface to sabotage us and spread chaos. They're behind all the worst events in history. Attacks, assassinations, rigged elections, you name it. The mole people are here to take over the world, and they'll stop at nothing until all sun dwellers, that's what they call the rest of us, have destroyed themselves." The delegates stared blankly at Spanky, assuming the dwarf was only kidding. Unfortunately, he wasn't kidding. Spanky believed every word of that outlandish conspiracy theory. Hey, Mary. "Spanky, I live underground. I never heard of mole people," Gobzella said. "Oh, yeah, well, trust me, they've heard of you," Prince Elrond quipped. "You can't find what you aren't looking for," the dwarf said. "And you've seen Mole Person before?" Butternut asked. Not personally, but I've heard enough stories to be certain," Spanky said. "Even as we speak, the mole people are below us, plotting their next move. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they were the ones starting the fire that your friend is being blamed for." Lucy leaned close to Bristol and whispered in her ear. "We're doomed," she said. "These people aren't top shelf, if you catch my drift." "They're just a little eccentric, that's all," Bristol said. "No wonder the representatives chose them as the delegates. They couldn't wait to get rid of them," Lucy said. But Bristol didn't respond. The colorful delegates were starting to give her doubts about the mission, too. Oh. Sorry, hold on, you guys. It's going to take me 2 seconds. Secret Fiancé is asking me where a parking pass is, and I just need to respond to him. Give me 2. Sorry, hold on, you guys. It's going to take me 2 seconds. Secret Fiancé is asking me where a parking pass is, and I just need to respond to him. Give me 2. Is it back yet? Okay, it should be back now, right? Sorry about that. Okay, I'm back. I had to help him out. I hate when TikTok drops me into a loop when the lives are paused. Yes, that's very strange. I don't know why it would do that. Where was I? Sorry about that. Okay. Tick, 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 tick. The carriage continued flying through the sky with no destination in sight. With every passing hour, the sun sank a little more into the horizon ahead, but it never disappeared. They traveled so far northeast that Bristol wondered if they would eventually reach the southwest. The longer the carriage flew, the more Bristol became paranoid, wondering if there was no Temple of Knowledge at all. Perhaps Dr. States had sent them on a wild goose chase. Perhaps he had made it all up so that he had more time to find and eliminate Xanthos. Just when Bristol started thinking that they should turn around, Sir Timber tapped on the window from outside. "Fairy Godmother," the knight called. "There's something here you should see." Bristol, Lucy, and the other delegates faced the front window. In the distance, floating on the ocean's surface, was an enormous white dome. It was the height and width of a mountain range, but it was so perfectly round that Bristol knew it couldn't be a natural formation. "What is that?" Lucy asked. Looks like some sort of shield," Bristol said. "Whatever it is, the mad birds are taking us straight towards it," Butternut noted. "Are we going to crash?" Gobzella asked. Bristol took a better look at the mysterious structure and discovered it was made entirely of clouds. I don't think so. It doesn't look solid, she said, and the notion made her smile. Wait a second. That's not a shield. It's a cover. The dome must be hiding the Temple of Knowledge. The carriage proceeded toward the dome and flew through its thick, cloudy surface. Strangely, even though the dome wasn't solid, Bristol and Lucy felt like they were passing through something, or rather, something was passing through them. A cold chill traveled down their bodies, causing them to shiver and buckle at the knees. Did you guys feel that? Lucy asked the others. Feel what? Spanky asked. I don't know. I just felt kind of weak all of a sudden. Me too, Bristol said. Must be altitude sickness, Butternut said. Once the mechanical birds in the carriage were past the cloudy dome, they entered an environment that was completely hidden from the rest of the world. The air was smoky and carried the scent of sulfur. The ocean waves were much choppier, and a strong wind rattled the carriage. The dome protected a chain of islands, and each of the islands hosted an active volcano that spewed a long trail of smoke into the sky. What is this place? Lucy asked. All the delegates went silent as they stared at the mysterious islands, asking themselves the same question. The carriage started to descend through the sky, and the magbirds prepared for landing. Tick, 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 tick. Oh, thank goodness we're here, Butternut said. That awful ticking noise has been driving me insane. Bristol did a double take. Wait, you can hear it too? She asked. Of course I can, Butternut said. Oh, I apologize. It's coming from my watch, she said. Bristol reached into her pocket and showed the troll her silver pocket watch. Tick, tick, tick. Butternut shook his head. No, that's not it, he said. What I'm hearing is louder and ticking much faster. All the delegates went quiet and noticed the sound themselves. Bristol realized the persistent ticking wasn't coming from her pocket watch at all. It was from something else inside the carriage. Tick, 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 tick. Well, that's bizarre, Bristol said. I don't see anything that could be causing it. Butternut raised one of his ears and followed the sound, like a dog following his scent. He moved throughout the coach, crawling over the other passengers' laps, and stopped at the near chest of the dead soldier. It's coming from inside him, the troll declared. The dead soldier... Excuse me, guys. Doing goblin voices, as wonderful as Butternut's voice is, thank you for the compliment, makes your throat a little weird. The dead soldier hadn't moved since the delegates left the Institute. In fact, many of them had forgotten he was even up there. Upon Butternut's accusation, the skeleton suddenly jumped up and retrieved his sword. He swung the weapon at the delegates, and they ducked and dived out of his way. Bong! Gobzella knocked the sword out of the soldier's bony hand. She wrapped one arm around his neck and held his hands behind him with the other hand. Sounds like dead guy has skeleton in his closet, Gobzilla said. While the soldier was restrained, Spanky used his pickaxe to pry the armor off the skeleton's torso. Inside the soldier's hollow ribcage was a strange contraption with several bags of gunpowder and a ticking clock. Sounds like Naisa was right. Tick, 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 tick. He's a bomb! Lucy shouted. Everyone screamed and immediately backed away. Why is skeleton carrying bomb? Gobzella asked. It's the mole people, Spanky exclaimed. They're trying to sabotage our mission. Bristol grunted. She knew exactly why the soldier was armed. No, it's 7, she said. That's why he recommended I travel with delegates. He's trying to blow me up before we reach the Temple of Knowledge. Well, don't just stand there. Someone stop this, Prince Elrond yelled. Bristol retrieved her wand and waved it at the bomb. Nothing happened. She waved it a second time more intensely. Still nothing happened. Even after a third and fourth attempt, the bomb remained exactly the same. Bristol, what is happening? Lucy asked. My magic isn't working, she said. Bristol desperately waved her wand a fifth and sixth time, but nothing changed. Tick, 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 tick. Butternut sighed with relief. Oh, good. It stopped, he said. Well done. It wasn't me, Bristol said. I was trying to turn it into a bouquet of flowers. Ring, 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 ring. The ticking was replaced by the sound of an alarm. The dead soldier gazed up at the other passengers and gave them an eerie wave goodbye. Ah, no, he's about to blow, Lucy said. What do we do? Prince Elrond asked. Abandon ship! Gobzella yelled. The goblin forcefully kicked open the door. The coach instantly filled with the smoky wind from outside. Gobzella grabbed Spanky and Butternut by the collars and threw them outside, and then pushed Prince Elrond after them. Bristol banged the front window to warn the knights. Get off the carriage, she yelled. What? Sir Rain called back. There's a bomb on board! Bristol cried. "You have to jump." "We can't hear what you're saying," Sir Hammer said. "The wind is too loud." Ring, ring, ring. The bomb's alarm intensified. "We gotta go," Gobzella shouted. Before Bristol knew what was happening, the goblin wrapped her arms around her and Lucy then jumped outside. Bristol, Lucy, and Gobzella fell hundreds of feet toward the choppy ocean below. Bang! The bomb went off and the carriage exploded above them. The force from the blast hit them like a brick wall, causing them to fall even faster. Splash! Bristol plummeted into the ocean. The impact knocked the wind out of her lungs. The waves crashed over, pushing her deeper and deeper below the surface. Her body thrashed and spun throughout the powerful current. Her wand slipped out from her tight grip and disappeared into the ocean's depths. Debris from the explosion plunked into the water and sank all around her. Bristol tried to swim to the surface, but she was too weak. Her arms and legs moved slower and slower, and gradually became still. She searched for Lucy and Gobzella, but she couldn't find them. All she could see was the dark ocean stretching out for miles around her. Woo! I mean, talk about you fixer-upper, am I right? Wild. Wild. All right. I gotta go because I have a very busy day, but we have Roll for Slime tonight, you guys. So I'll be back on at 4:30 on YouTube to do Roll for Slime because we do have After Dark ones to do today. So I'll see you there. If you are owed a Roll for Slime, Claire, if you're around, we have an open spot. We can do, oh wait, no, it's not you, it's Jen who has, what did I just miss? A bomb. She can't do magic in the dome. That's probably true. It's probably true. Anyone, the author sure knows how to keep us. I mean, tell me about it, Sloth. I got a phone call. I'm going to upload it, so don't worry, Roxy. You'll be able to watch it back. I'm going to upload all the rest of the Tale of Sorcery stuff today. I'm also going to be, since I'm home alone today, I'm going to be recording the first couple of chapters of my audiobook today, so we'll get that started. I also love Just Me Sloth's name. I love a good username, you know? Like Ampersandwich, Sloth, they're all great. What else? This is the last couple of days of pre-orders. If you are on Patreon, go ahead and grab that. And, oh, don't forget, buy your supplies for class on Thursday. We're doing Thick and Glossy class. The list of supplies is up on Patreon now. That's on Thursday afternoon, evening, whatever, depends on where you live. And I think that's the whole kit and caboodle. The whole list is up there, Roxy. You have to have multiple types of glue, but no clear glue is allowed in this particular slime. Did you mail yet? If no, I'm adding another. No pre-orders have been mailed yet, Ray, so you're in good shape. They're all almost done being made. I have 3 slimes that I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the frog spawn beads. I have 2 of the colors for the frog spawn beads still in the mail, and then I'm waiting on the scent for joy to come in the mail and the scent for embarrassment to come in the mail. Once those 3 things arrive, should be today or tomorrow, all the pre-orders will start going out. So everything else is made and ready to go, which is great. I will start with people who haven't made those or haven't ordered those, but I wanted to get, it is a Christmas shirt. Yeah, I'm a Christmas fiend. I was born right after Christmas, so I love Christmas stuff all year round. It's my friend's holiday shirt. I love this one. But pre-orders will start going out this week. I just haven't started them yet. Yes, the lobster's great. He's her lobster. Does having slime in the fridge enhance the scent, or am I crazy? You know, I'm not sure. I've never tested that theory at all, but not a bad thing. I know, I love it too. I'm a big Friends fan. Yes. Secret husband and I are watching Friends right now, and we're just at the episodes where Rachel is towards the end of her pregnancy. I'll wait until tomorrow then in case you post more videos once I need. That's funny. There will be more videos today and tomorrow. I just got the glasses in the mail for Sadness, so she's gonna go up soon, and I need to make the Rocket Wagon today as well. Rocket Wagon is good. Very good Rocket Wagon. Anyway, that is pretty much the whole kit and caboodle. I will see you all this afternoon, 4:30. Be there or be squared. The link will be up on Patreon about a half an hour before, and we will be making slime. All right, see you later.